vocal technique development. The ultimate international screaming vocal school. RMS Vocal Institute.
Hi everyone, Soren here, head teacher at RMS Vocal Institute. Today, the video is about the most, or at least one of the most important days, the recording of your EP, your album, or maybe just a single. Nonetheless, today it's about recording. Hope you're ready. So, the first most important thing to think about on such an important day is, of course, scheduling. So if you haven't watched the video about live, then please go and watch that first and then come back here and watch this video. So I always say it, and I'll say it again, schedule everything out. Know what you'll be doing on each part in the specific songs. Because if you stand there and you don't know what you're doing, not coming prepared, then you're going to waste so much time in there and your voice will not be growling and screaming and singing for 24 hours and sound equally amazing throughout that whole period. So schedule everything out. So that of course comes out to what will you be doing on the specific line? Will you be growling, then screaming, then growling again? Or what will you be doing on each single line? That's how we use the time in the rehearsal space. And of course, if that's not the case, then you practice the songs at home, knowing exactly what you want for each part. Second thing you should schedule out, when do you want layers? If that's the case, do you want, let's say, a guttural sound, a regular growl, and a scream together for that specific little part? Or do you just want growly, tunnel throat, gutturals? Or what do you want when layering? Very important as well. Basically, write it down on a piece of paper. This part, I know I want this to happen. If there's more guys in your band that's helping to do that scream or yell at a specific point, then either get them to do it or know what they are doing so you can somewhat reproduce what they are doing for the album. So when you're doing it live, it's very close to what will be happening there as well. And of course, there might be parts that you are not 100% sure about. That's okay. Then leave them for the last part, where you, the producer, the bandmates that you brought along can talk about this, where you're like, how about this? How about that? Try a few things out. That's okay. Just don't let everything in the songs be like that. There might be parts where you think, if you don't have the opportunity to record stuff at home or at one of the bandmates' place, then of course, if it's purely rehearsal space, you might sometimes find small spots where you're like, what do I exactly want for the album? That's okay. Just don't let it be the main parts. So when you know exactly what you want to do with the song, then afterwards it's all about you feeling comfortable. So wear some clothes that will make you feel comfortable and at ease. You might of course need a specific t-shirt if there is someone recording you doing the recordings for social media stuff. However, make sure you feel comfortable by maybe having a conversation with the studio guy. If it's not a friend already, have a conversation with him how that you like these conversations to be, because it can seem negative if he says it in one way and you didn't expect it. You don't want those situations to happen. So have a regular conversation with the person and simply say, if I do something wrong, can you just say, please do it again? Or something that you feel comfortable about, or at least a way that you feel is more comfortable for you, so you can keep on working and working and working. Another quite important thing, in my opinion, about this situation is that you need to talk with your bandmates as well. Figure out who is very interested in how the recordings will sound. Of course, they all will be. But is there someone who already are very into vocals in general? Someone who feels that their opinion about when and what would be needed? Probably everyone. But however, you might know someone who can already do some of these sounds. So they might have an opinion. Maybe try this, maybe try that instead. You don't want the full band to be there, because then it will be you recording the same line 20 times, even though you might already have made great recordings. But then suddenly someone asks, how about you did it like that? How about you did it like that instead? So you just need, I would say, maximum 2 people from the band sitting with the studio guy, listening, so you get some feedback from both. Maybe the person who's writing a lot of the music, if it isn't you. So think about these things and make sure that you can have a very comfortable environment to record in. And of course, get some help if there's something where, I'm not sure, what do you guys think? Always ask your bandmates and the producer. They are sitting and listening to it in a little bit of a different way than we are. Now comes another question. So how many days are you recording? Is it one day and then next week? Or is it days next to each other? It's different tasks. It's different ways to approach it. So think about it like this. If you're recording every single day, then make sure that you can actually sing the next day. So how long is a show? Well, let's say maximum 1.5 hours. If you've done a 2-hour show, awesome. But it's not very common. So think about it like this. How many hours can you actually make high quality recordings? I would put it like this. I don't think that many would be able to do much more than 6 hours per day. 6 hours is a lot to do these styles. So make sure that you are fit for these tasks at hand. Otherwise, I would not recommend anything more than 3 hours at a time. That would be like doing 3 shows, right? So don't overdo it if it's days next to each other. See how much you can get on the first day, then the next day, then the next day. If you need one more day, then you need one more day. That's all it is. Do not blow your voice just for the sake of it. But if it's one day, once a week type of a thing, then of course go for around 6 hours and see if you can, or at least how long that you actually can. There's nothing wrong with you not being strong enough to do it that long. It is what it is. Days are days. It doesn't mean that you couldn't have done it the day after or the day before. It's a specific day, and that specific day, your voice were reacting like this. When taking breaks, bring a scarf that you can wrap around your neck so you do not cool down too much. That's one thing. You can also bring some hot tea. That would be a smart idea as well, to stay heated in those small breaks that you might need. So stay heated. That's probably the best thing I can tell you. Also bring some water, and that will of course help as well. So stay hydrated. Maybe bring a sweater that you take on when you're having a small break, so you don't cool down. If you take that break and before going in, take a little minute to 3 where you do some lip rolls or humming or whatever that you like to do to keep your voice where it should be. And the last thing, but none the least, schedule. More scheduling. So make sure that you schedule out which parts are the hardest to do and which parts are the easiest. Let's say that you're a band that both does clean singing and harsh vocals or extreme vocal technique. What you then want to do is probably first do the clean singing and then do the effects. And if that turns out to be 2 different days, well, do it like that. Otherwise, take the easy parts first and get them over with, so you have maybe a full day to do all the hard parts and the parts where you're insecure, what you really want to be done on that specific part in a song. I really hope that this helped so you can record the best recording you've ever done for your band and for yourself. So if you liked the video, push that like button, kick the bell, keep on subscribing, and see you at RMS Vocal Institute.